Okay, this is Start Over.
Darda and Solomon, we love you, Patrice.
Oh, no, not that part. About how she took this course.
So in 2014, she took this course, and I told her, I already know how to plan. And she says, no, Solomon, you got to come with me this time. And she chased me down 6 times on Wednesday. And then I said, okay, I'll be there. It's very grumpy. So I sat 6:30, I remember. It was 6:30, 8:30 in the middle of the thing, and you stood up. Your marker wasn't working. It was all blue. And I'm there, crossed my hand, and she's sitting next to me. And I'm looking, and you go, what did we talk about last week? And it says, God's plan, you wrote it, life plan, and financial plan. Then I go, then it hit. I had like bumps, goose, everything. And then you said powerfully 3 things. It's in this order, it's non-negotiable, and it's non-reversible.
Look at that! You remember that!
And I go, wow. So she looked at me, I'm looking at her, and was a God's message through you.
Oh, praise Jesus.
It has impacted my work, my life, what I do with HR. People says I'm out of order. I say, well, this is what I learned. This is my testimony. This is my story. And I share with them, if you align with God, which is your life plan first.
No, God is your God plan.
God plan, yes, but align in the life plan.
Yes.
Write it down.
Yes.
Yourself.
Yes.
If you have a wife, you write it together. Put it all together. Offer it to the Lord.
Yes.
Like a tablet on the Bible.
Yes.
Because it doesn't mean He doesn't know. It's about relationships. So He says, I got you. From there, that course went. And Darda and I that night and says, okay, we got our life plan together. We listed it down, 3-5 points, very critical, and then we start talking about financial plan. Well, long story short, she said the following day, we can get to the debt-free in 22 to 24 months. I said, great. God bless us in January 2014, and around December 2014, we were debt-free. So fast, so early.
And why? Because He honors our obedience.
Yes.
And our hearts.
He did. He says, I'm going to pursue you, but just be in alignment with me. Mm-hmm. Walk with me. Mm-hmm. And ever since that story, I will never turn back because I want to walk with God's will, God's plan. I don't need to walk alone. I don't want to walk alone.
Right.
So with that, all that said, it was effective, and God was so a key presence for so many other people's lives. And that's why there's stories of milestone. A guy who's a top attorney for a year and a half, don't even have a job. He desperately chased me because of a referral, and I sat down with him at Starbucks, and his face went from aggressive, anxious, and dropped to like, I gotta go home, Solomon. I'm sorry, I gotta apologize to my wife.
Oh my God.
That was a Thursday. He sent me an email on Friday. I'd love to take you out for breakfast on a Thursday. I said, sure, I'll meet you at Strawberry Farm on a Thursday. He walks up to me, and his name is Scott. He walks up to me, I said, at 7 a.m., and I shook his hand, how is your week? And he had this like look, and he goes, Solomon, on Monday, I get a call from a top attorney in downtown LA. I interview on Monday afternoon, and then on Tuesday may offer me a partnership, and I start on Monday. That's one story of hundreds of stories by the fact of life plan in place behind God's plan.
Yeah. And that financial plan is at the end, and that financial plan means nothing. It's just God's way to use us in the workplace with people if your wife hadn't come, you wouldn't have met me. We were divinely supposed to meet.
Yes.
And your obedience to listen to your wife.
Right.
So it trickles with obedience. God is pursuing us.
Yes.
And then He can't wait to bring us to our purpose. But the finances, He doesn't even need. He just uses to get us to interact.
That's correct. So he gifted us a message, and since 2014 till now, his presence, his continuing communication, his divine intervention, he's he's present. He nudges so many different people or different objects, and we notice and we're aware that's him.
That's right.
And so to align that, it has changed people's lives like Scott, hundreds, hundreds.
Wow.
So with that, yes, the financial plan, debt free, financial free, but that was a gift of a message that glued Darda and I at the like a 3M glue you can't break,
Right.
and we need that sealed. And
Yes.
Darda and I were thought about you all the time because you were placed for us, and then we're in HR and we are like, oh my goodness, it's like, and we see that change and we see his glory being put together. It's just amazing story.
Well, I have to tell you, this is how sweet God is, where you feel like I blessed you. Why? I was just using my gifts and obedience at a time
Yeah.
for my church in a crisis that, they asked me to do it. I didn't like the existing curriculum, Dave Ramsey, so I said to Kenton, no. And then I said, I'm a financial advisor. People are missing it. It's not about getting out of debt.
Yeah.
You change their heart, they'll want to do a budget.
Yes.
It's you're going about it all wrong. And so I was so adamant. And he's like, well, then just write your own. I'm like, wait, I'm not sure I'm that confident. I just know Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
I just know God.
Yes.
Wait, write my own. I already have a full plate. But I was so convicted because I know his word,
Oh my goodness.
Solomon, that I will not succumb to Kenton, anyone. No, I know the truth and I know the way it's supposed to go. And so I just want to tell you my story so you know how the timing and you blessing this. I mean, you're blessing me because, Mariners did financial free for like 6 years, whatever.
Yes.
And then Kenton was retiring. I won't go into the details,
Yeah.
but in case I ever post this on YouTube. But they decided to go with Dave Ramsey. And I said to him, you can't, it's not better. It's wrong. They do cash. Credit cards aren't the enemy. It's a heart issue. It's not right. But because he was transitioning, wanted to make it all the stuff to go, they did. And I was so upset. And so, but I think God, what they maybe meant, I think for evil, God used for good, because I was bent on this is the best. I've published a new book. I got asked to speak in the secular world to 400 business leaders. They soaked it up. So I'm like, this is my ministry.
Wow.
To bring people in the word, to talk to companies, to bring people in the world now to give them the Lord.
Yes.
And so I'm like, this is a good strategy. So I had to take time because I had sold my book to this company. So I had to write a whole new book. And if I hadn't but my biggest passion, Solomon, is the Bible. And so I was frustrated when Mariners went with Dave Ramsey. I'm like, wait, God, I thought this was my vision. I thought this was what I'm doing. I know I'm good at this. I know it's changing lives. No, I got the reviews. Solomon, I'm not even trying to brag, but God puts us where we're going to shine, right? Where we're going to be excellent. And the reviews weren't, I got out of debt faster. Everyone did. I'm tithing. Everyone was. It wasn't about that. You know what the number one thing on the review said?
What?
Patrice has made me come back to God. I start my day with God. I know God is number one. This is a financial class. You couldn't have told me anything better. Because I emphasize God, and now let's learn a budget.
Yeah.
But you're not going to, the budget doesn't matter if you don't know this. So I'm like, God, I think I have
that's
this.
what was
Right.
huge.
That's sticking. That sticks for everyone.
It stuck so much for us, and it was a purpose driven, it was in alignment, and that time, that moment, you were inserted, and it just never left it.
So now now look how you're blessing me. So that was several years ago. And then I'm like, God, I'm so frustrated. I have spent all this time writing this book, and now Mariners isn't going to do it. They were going to order 10,000. So I was so frustrated. And then I'm like, but God, what they meant, maybe I think is ruining my plan. You're in control. You knew this. My biggest passion, even though financially free is my second passion or third next to God, was recording the Bible and doing a Bible app. So for the last 2 years, Solomon, I have created a Bible app, and I've recorded every day. I do record the 3 chapters you read, literally record. I'm going to show it to you. And then I do a commentary, 30 to 40-minute commentary on what those mean.
Wow.
So it's an in-depth daily Bible study. So I've done that. So I focus my time, but now I'm finishing it. I've been doing it for 2 years. The Bible will be done. My app will be done by December 31st. And guess what 2020 is about? Going back and building Financially Free and teaching Financially Free. And so literally that you contacted me in September or October of this year, and I'm standing before you hearing your testimony, is used by God. Now you're blessing me. You're giving back because your testimony is motivating me.
Oh, yes. But 2020, just like the vision is clear, and God's plan and the life plan in accordance to that 2020
Yes.
is a very significant year. Because as you will learn from what's been going on in this company and bridging with our strategic partner with Firm Foundation, it's amazing. It's a business as mission.
Oh
And we
my
are in the
gosh.
same line. So we have churches throughout United States. And we just finished attending, I did not have the chance to attend, but 30,000 pastor in Florida. I mean, what it is not the quantity, it's about aligning correctly. And I believe then now, just standing here, and I want to affirm this because he nudges sometimes and say, Solomon, now you see it. 2020, just like perfect vision, is in alignment with my plan because your life plan is in alignment together. And then we are together with a purpose driven.
Yes.
Not a goal, not something vaporizes.
Oh,
it's just that
preach
purpose
it.
driven.
I love purpose driven versus goals.
That's right. Because goals is great, but it's a moment and it vaporizes.
And remember, goals is one of the steps in Financially Free. It's just a step to accomplish your purpose. It's just a step.
So my story with Darda affected to my 4 kids. They all want to be that 1% financially free.
Ooh.
And the reason is that they see a purpose.
Yes.
And so they'll get there with him.
Yes.
And I remind them not to tell them. I remind them that was God again.
Yes.
They promoted you now in 6 months twice. They promoted you, So I'm so blessed to able to be part of this whole story journey, right? And then to see people's elevate. I had executives come to me, and again, I do a guy named Charles. He says, I don't know why I'm not getting any jobs for 8 months. And I know I'm telling, yes, he worked with big companies like Taco Bell and so forth, so on. And I said to him, is your alignment, is your life plan in place? And if it's not in place, because it needs to be always adjusted.
Right.
With alignment with God.
Right.
Not your financial.
No.
And not your job, not any of that. and he goes,
You're preaching to the choir.
He goes, you're right. Because he goes, 2 things. I want to understand how you and Darda are so well together in adversities and good. I mean, and I share with them. Because we know our purpose driven with God. It's our life plan. And he's blessed us and we're debt free. Not in 22, 24 months, in 10 months.
Oh my
I said,
gosh.
that's a different. What it is an ongoing growth of going through circumstance. But this is where it aligns with him. Well, he aligned with his wife. 2 weeks later, he gets a job. He's now working for a largest supermarket and they're doing acquisition. And just that is a very powerful story of so many.
Oh my gosh.
So I couldn't stop. I said, I gotta call Patrice. Patrice, you were placed at that time, at that moment. Not once, 6 weeks, another one. And we need you. We need this to be impact from a simply of his message to us.
Yes.
In this order, non-negotiable and non-reversible.
And what you said is you spoke it so firmly. So you were there not wanting to go. Do you know how many wives drag their husbands to Financially Free? And I could see on the face, this guy does not want to be here.
Oh, yeah.
And he's irritated and he thinks he's got it all together. Not talking about you, but other people, same thing. I know how to do a financial plan.
Yeah.
And the wife thought, I think we need to go. And I think what is God uses me as a gift because I speak with such conviction and firm. You said you spoke so firmly. I think men respect it because they need to be woken up to say, it's okay that you don't have it all together.
Yes.
You're the head of your household. You want to protect your bride, so maybe you don't want to let her know, but there's help to get you to really have it together.
That's correct. And so we've been so in awe in our life the last 5 years, and we haven't changed, and we will never change. It's a word that is reminded again and again. We're not going to negotiate anything. We're not going to change anything. It's in this order, and it's a workable order because he blessed us with that. It wasn't a secret, but it's through people like you, Patrice, that it was just a solemn moment. If you think of me sitting like this with my legs stretched out, looking on the board when you were talking on second week,
Yeah.
and then my whole body comes up, and I'm there with my wife, and it hit home. It was a home because he spoke through you to me.
Praise
To her.
be to God.
And that's why it's such a life-changing. I mean, we're so blessed. I mean, I'm not talking about being rich. It's just his provisioning is always enough.
But more than the provision, you're blessed. This is beautiful, and what a story that I get to participate in. But it's the joy that you exude and that you have all of this material blessing in line with your true eternal goal or purpose. And so this is what finances are. Just an icing on the cake that says, well done, go enjoy the good life.
Yes.
But don't make it an idol. But guess what? I want to give it to you when your heart's right to receive it, after your marriage is good, after your purpose is clear. Because if you chase after me, you get all things will be added.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's in his time.
Yes.
And we're not neglecting, and we understand we're continuing to walk that journey. And that's what's been a beautiful life. But so we wanted to, so in our HR, I have been speaking, this is what's going on, is there's wellness programs. So in HR, wellness is a little different, scope in the marketplace.
Yes.
But in my perspective with my partner, but it was just kept coming back. Because the word kept coming back. It says, well, I'm doing 401k. I says, yeah, but that's not good enough. I need this whole room, 20 people in this company, which I know. And I said, and then that moment nudged me. He says, if you set your life plan, your individual, your husband and wife, get that in order,
yes,
all this financial is so easy.
Yeah.
I said, and they were looking at me, but they weren't like staring, but there was a faith in this company.
Yes.
So wellness to me is an insert of purpose-driven, bridging your serve, bridging an element of a simplicity of this 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
And they could take that.
Yes.
And they can say, oh, in wellness, it wasn't the money, it's the relationship, it's the family, it's my spouse, it's my children, it's my friends.
Yes.
And then that becomes a more purpose-driven.
Well, because then it takes also, because one of the steps of Financially Free is margin. You start to realize you're striving and it's causing for money, like just get the house and I have to provide for my kids in college.
Yeah.
You start focusing on the money and you start striving. It robs you of everything else. Relationship time, peace, good sleep, people are anxious. And so you want to have wellness, which usually means, mind, body, and soul and health.
Yeah.
You start with Financially Free. I always tell them Financially Free in the life plan is actually everything you need.
Yes.
Because the financial plan, you're smart enough to know how to do a budget.
Yes.
But if I'm not going to give you, remember, some people get upset because when they ask me to speak at an investment group or at a company of 400 leaders, they're coming because you're a Financially Free. Like they want a financial tip. I go, The first week, I'm going to talk for 75 minutes.
Yeah.
or 45, however long you give me, I won't even mention it. I'm going to mention, if I do not change their heart in 45 minutes, the next couple weeks when I talk about the financial piece, they won't hear me. But if I change their hearts in the first 45 minutes, which I will, because I've never not changed hearts because I'm strong, next week they're going to come back wanting to listen to do the budget. If I start talking about budget, their eyes are going to roll back. They don't have context.
Yes.
And another person's going to tell me I'm doing it wrong. You don't know how much debt. So no. I don't even talk about the finances till I get their heart.
Yes.
And when I get their heart, then they can't wait to do the steps.
Yes.
Who wants to sit through? I always think, oh my gosh, by week 6 or Kenton at first it was week 8. I'm like, I can't even take it 8 weeks talking about insurance at late at night.
Exactly.
These poor people, I'm doing it 5 weeks, and 5 is the number of grace. And I'm like, because if they're doing their homework, if I get their heart, I'm just giving them tools, get in, here's the steps. Then they're going to do it on their, they'll be hungry to do it because they've convinced their mind and their heart that it is right. And that I'm not telling them to do drudgery. I'm telling them to do a gift to free you. It clicks, Solomon. And when it clicks, you're exactly right. All the other pieces are just rudimentary.
Yeah, because financially free, the word free is where he blessed us in Galatians 3:5-13, right?
Oh.
Our blessing is through his relationship, our relationship with him.
Yes.
Once that is determined and once it's understood, it takes time because the healing, the transformation, how Kenton is talking about transformational loop.
Yes.
The process.
Yeah.
So all this time, the relationship is more important because $1, there's no relationship. It's just a physical
medium
object.
of exchange.
Right. Relationship, what continues. And that's a life journey. And he has allowed blessing, and we can take on his inheritance, which is given to us.
Yes.
However, he goes back to square one. Number one, the relationship I want with you.
Yes.
Purely,
And
100%.
once you have this, that I'm most concerned about the relationship you have with your wife, with your coworkers.
Yep.
This is, and then you go out and do your purpose. It's relationship, and I'll pick each of you to be in a different spot so you're reaching the saints and you're reaching the lost, but you're excellent. So they're going to ask you, 1 Peter 3, give me an answer for the hope you profess.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh, we could preach to each other all day. Anything else you want to say before I turn off the video?
No, this is the beginning and the kickoff to 2020.
Oh.
2020 is a visionary of his vision for all of us. And I see it being completely his way of allowing us to be contagious, of sharing that simple message that he just clearly says, I'm pursuing you. I want a relationship with you. Write down your life plan. Write down what's in your heart. That's important. Write down between you and your wife. Offer it to me. Share with me. I already know, but I'm glad you know because you wrote it down.
Right.
You must write it down. That relationship is the most important piece of 100%. Then the rest will be in line. So
Amen.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited. My heart is leaping. As soon as I put this phone down and maybe a big hug, I'm so pumped up. You don't even know how much you just blessed me. Do you understand that God wanted this for this day?
Really? Yeah, I've been looking forward to 2020, and I said, I'm going to continue. I'll find you.
Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. Praise you, Jesus. Praise you, Jesus. Praise you, Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Awesome.
Signing off. This is going on YouTube, I know. This is like the best. You just this is the way you look. It's like it's staged, and I'm just holding my phone.
Oh my gosh. No.
You're so presentable. Okay, it just says, I thought the other part blew my socks up. You haven't heard the best part.
You haven't heard the best part.
And now you have to get the video, so, okay.
So, 2010, we lost our home. That's why we were in 2014 meeting Patrice, right?
Yeah.
So, God blessed us with a new home. He gifted us a new home. I'll let you know how, and I know it's him because Darda and I wanted to know and make sure it is God that's in his decision for us to be blessed with a home. So, out of nowhere, January 2018, we were kind of like coming out of Tustin. That's how we began when we lost our home. We live in an apartment there. And we said, God, when it's time, you'll probably let us know. Maybe you'll allow us to finally buy a home. And our credit went, from nothing, 400 to 830. Darda was very good, but just preparation. So
Yes.
this story is very clear in a short way, is that we were given a home, and we knew we were going to close in 20 days, and came 30 days, and it's about letting go. It's about surrendering. So that's the story, because we put a deposit, and we knew that possibly it's not us.
Yeah.
God. It's not. So 3 days before, which is on a Sunday, very specifically, we finished life group, and then Dara and I stayed at church for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and we talked. And we decided that, you know what, it was not God. I think it's us. So we surrendered our deposit. We called on Monday to the realtor, and we said, we're going to withdraw, because it's not going to close. It's just hanging. So we would lose the whole $22,000, and we were at peace. And
That's remarkable right there.
and then I went on Monday at 8:30. Darda comes into my office crying, closed the door. I said, "Are you okay? What happened?" And she says, "I actually pray not for the house or not for other things. I pray for his sign, or it's him." And it was a very simple, if it's you, Lord, you will come and let me know. Well, guess what? The realtor turned out to be my cousin. And she full heart says, I don't want to take any, you take all this to use in case you need additional money. So long story short, the following day, which is Tuesday, they said, we're closing. That's how fast.
Oh my gosh.
Wednesday, we picked the key.
Are you kidding?
And that's how he worked. And then we go, okay. So then he has a humor.
Yeah.
And so I said, my son Harvey wanted to put some money to help paint the house. So they did. They picked like 6 samples, didn't work. Then another week, 2 weeks goes by. They say, hey, you want to go? So they picked 2 more. And then they sat there, and then they decided, they came up with a color. I said, color? Oh, what color? What's the name? I mean, you think about paint.
Yeah.
I mean, color. So they go, the color is Dove.
No.
Okay, now,
Oh my god.
right there, God spoke to Darda and I. We're looking at each other. Dove. Oh my goodness. 3 times. So we were blessed with a new office through this company on Dove.
Oh my god.
But the significant, when we lost our home in 2010 and when my mom passed in 2008, this is Corona, California.
Yeah.
And when we sold the barbecue pit like in one night, they lifted up like 120 feet up in the air over the house without dropping it, and there was a white dove.
Oh
So
my
2010
gosh.
was a white dove. We live on Dove.
Yeah.
We pick a paint's Dove.
Yeah.
We knew as him. Then everything started to wake up. The street we live on, 2014 through Rooted, I didn't know why it was a Rooted. Same thing. Why I didn't go financial free.
Right.
And I wrote, if I could have a fellowship with a friend, a person. Well, turned out his best friend to me today, 5 years later, his name is Kenneth. Guess what street God placed us on our house?
No.
Kenneth.
No. Are you
And-
God speaks to you
and-
so clearly because you are so seeking Him and willing to give up 22,000? Do you know was the deposit really 22,000?
Yes, it was.
Do you know what 22,000 is in biblical numerology?
No.
There's 22. I mean, this is how sweet God is showing up. There's 22 letters in the Hebrew alphabet, and
Amen.
so 22 is the number of wisdom and light.
Oh my goodness.
You were willing to give up money to seek God's true wisdom and light, and the money was $22,000. And God
Wow.
said, "You're willing to walk away. That's a lot of money, especially knowing the journey. You're willing to walk away from to honor me, to get my wisdom and light, and not care about money. I'm gonna bless your socks off." I mean, does that give you chills? That's how.
That's a chill.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Kenneth, unbelievable. I mean, this story just keeps getting better.
Yes. So when I finally stepped out of the house and I'm looking down the drive as I enter, there's a ground cover but shaped like a heart. Because for the longest time, Darla and I says, "Why is there heart everywhere on the house?" And then when you walk in, the first thing you open the door, you'll see an angel in the backyard, a statue. But all this significant was placed, and it was him. He gifted us and reminded us that I'm present, but we're doing this not for us.
Yeah.
So truly, that journey has walked all the way. And the dove, when I first saw it, I thought it was maybe my mom because she
Yeah.
passed. But then you go, there's no coincidence. We're on Dove Street. We're still on Dove Street. We're just
Yes.
off a little bit. Here 4 years. And then Dove? You can imagine a million possibilities of the paint.
Right.
And the one coming out is Dove.
Because that's how much he loves us. He doesn't want us to miss that I'm present and I
Yes.
love you. And I want to also, because your heart is right, do we do the right thing? We walk away. You're trying to honor him. You don't think he's going to show up to honor you when you honor him? Oh,
Oh,
okay. I'm gonna
so.